Alright, this isn't just a bike ride video. I gotta admit it right off the bat. I want to talk about something. See, a week or so ago I posted a video that was about really what's going on with Canadian election, how it's shifted, how it's become about affordability in Canada, and it's shifted. Now it's about a national sovereignty of Canada. I mean, come on. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly encourage you to watch it, because this video is actually kind of a reaction video. So I don't do those too often, but I received an interesting comment that at first I wanted to dismiss it as something not very relevant, let's say, but then I had second thoughts about that, because it is actually relevant. And the reason I was gonna dismiss it at first was more because it was kind of insulting. But yeah, I got over that. So let's listen to the comment and then I'll tell you what I think about it. All right, so let's get this started.
Complete boomer. Oh no, the orange man is coming for our country. Yeah, this video is about what I expected from an old Canadian. I don't know what it is with you guys and thinking Trump has any relevancy over us. It just has to come from the fact you're using predominantly American media and influenced by American issues or something. Do you seriously think we're at risk of annexation from the US? Get a grip, man. There are probably 2 to 3 million people from India that have been imported here on temporary foreign work permits to keep wage costs low for multinational corporations. Canada is being invaded economically and demographically and has been for the past decade. I've been in this country for 23 years, and I've watched that decline since birth. Because you are all too focused on the wrong things. They will say I am racist because I think 400,000 people each year from India will change the country and has been for the past decade. It used to be the average wage in Canada would buy you a house after working for 4 years. That is now 10 years. And with all the tax increases and food increases and pretty much every single cost increase, with wages stagnating, most people will never own homes. Like 80% of your generation did before 25. Instead, we will all keep renting for $1,500 a month and get our $200 checks from the government. Lucky us, while we cannot write off expenses like our gas, rent, or car, which is necessary for work. You boomers made this system for the young Canadians, and it's garbage. Young-born Canadians despise you and your lack of any bone as we wait patiently for any sort of change that does not seem likely while your generation is still here. The laziest, most given generation in history, and we are eating it.
All right, let's find a place to sit down and then I'll tell you about what I think about this comment. Yeah, I got some things to say about it, for sure. So, kid, you call me boomer? Well, let me point out that at 23 years old, which I'm assuming you are because you told me you've been seeing this since birth and that you've been in this country for 23 years, well, congratulations on having grown out of your diapers.
Wow!
Now, having said that, I can actually identify with your frustration. there's some valid points in what you're bringing up. It's become harder for people to save up money for a down payment and get a mortgage and buy a house. There's no doubt about it. Thing is, if you had a little bit more experience, more years to look back on, you would have seen that there are economic shifts going through the times, and that we had highs and we had lows. If you had stuff to look back on till the 50s, I mean, there were great times for Canadians. Then you go forward to the 1980s and things didn't look so great. Right now we're in a phase where it's been hard and a lot of people are frustrated. And by the way, the part of your comment dealing with, the orange man is going to come for our country. Well, he said that numerous times. He's dead serious about that. And even if he's not going to invade us militarily, I mean, economic pressure can over time weaken our resolve to sovereignty. And then what could happen is that more and more people actually want to side with Trump and want to jump over to the United States because they figure, oh, there's an easier path for them for economic prosperity, whatever, you know. I don't know if that's how you're perhaps perceiving this, but the threat to our country is real, and you can see that in the polls. It's become less about affordability now, and it's become much more about Canadian sovereignty. So I'm actually with you when it comes to frustration. I would like to see more economic prosperity myself, and I know that if Barbara and I didn't have a house already, we'd be in some kind of trouble, you know, because rents have increased $1,500 a month, like you mentioned. Some of them are much higher than that, and the average house price has increased tremendously. There's no doubt about it. But let me tell you one thing when it comes to housing prices. In Canada, we actually had an advantage for many, many years when house prices were much lower than other countries. Compare today to places like Malaysia, or you compare to the United Kingdom or the United States, Miami, New York. You know, what you'll find is that Canada is middle of the road for a country that is huge and where the population actually has increased by 1 million people in a relatively short time. We're not that bad. If you look at Halifax, it's like 500 and something thousand for the average house. Look at Toronto, it's 1 point something million, of course. You know, it's not easy, and I have to admit that the wages haven't kept up. But you're blaming immigrants for that. What's really to blame is that governments prioritize corporate profits over the lives of workers like yourself and myself and about the ordinary people. What they're doing is, and that's where a lot of people assume the wrong thing, because I hear it over and over again, Canada is too socialist, especially from the state side, you'll hear that. The reality is that the governments for many, many years now have prioritized corporations, keep their buddies happy who are probably in corporate offices somewhere. And as long as corporate profits are fine, they can show you statistics that'll say that the Canadian economy is just doing great because our GDP increased and stuff. Meanwhile, the problem is that too many people working hard, including immigrants, aren't making enough money to afford necessary things like shelter, like food, all of the things you bring up. But if you blame the immigrants for that, you're going down a dangerous path, guy. There are lots of immigrants working very, very hard in sectors that are important to all of us, including healthcare, construction, many, many other fields. So you don't want to go down that path. Want to know a secret? Well, it's not much of a secret. When I came to Canada, it was in 1987. So I've been here for just about 38 years. And yeah, I came from Germany, a foreign country, guy. So yeah, relatively easy back then. I admit it. But if you call me lazy, you're pissing off the wrong guy. I didn't cause your troubles, nor did immigrants from India. Look at your government and then think about what they're really doing. I'm telling you, we still have certain advantages in Canada that they don't have over in the United States, and that's why it's important to protect our sovereignty and to protect those benefits. We have a healthcare system that, while it's not perfect, it'll pay for pretty much anything that can kill you. It'll pay for the treatments. Go to the United States and I think you might either die or you might go bankrupt. That's not a very good outlook. Like when Trump says that he wants to annex Canada, he's seeing our resources like oil and gas and water and lumber and like there's a whole bunch of stuff he says they don't need from us. Well, if they didn't need anything from us, why would he want to annex our country? And that's what he said several times. Become the 51st state. You don't take him seriously? Well, you're making a mistake. Now, the real reason why it's so hard to buy a house in Canada, number one, is because housing prices have increased worldwide, everywhere, not just Canada. But in Canada, we have some policies that allow corporations to buy up valuable real estate. They invest money buying up homes and then renting them to people. And I mean, they're treating it like a stock, like an investment. And they're being allowed to do that. What do you think happens as a result? Well, the prices go up. So we have challenges there. I agree with you there, but don't blame it on my generation, guy. It's not my fault. All I've ever owned for housing is my primary residence. It's not a mansion neither. It's not the average house, I tell you. Every piece of that house and every piece of my life, I earned it with my own hard labor. If you call me lazy, I'm insulted, guy. But since you're only 23, I can let it slide, you know? Yeah, you tell me that you've seen Canada decline since birth. Well, realistically, you gotta be at least about 15 to 18 to even realize what's going on with the economy, with policies, with all of that stuff. So, in real terms, for you, that's been like about 8 years or so, not 23. Don't tell me you were in your diapers following what is going on with the Canadian economy and housing prices and economic policies. BS, guy. Grow up. Pay attention. I congratulate you on that. So instead of blaming another generation or blaming immigrants or, all of this, don't you realize this is keeping us divided? And instead of holding government accountable for the policies that they put in place by being united and fighting this, we're going to be divided fighting each other. Makes no sense to me. So stop blaming the older generation. If you call me lazy, I am insulted, and I almost kind of swept your comment under the rug because, who are you anyways? I don't even know if you're going to watch this video because I don't think you're one of my subscribers or anything like that. But hey, having said all that, I appreciate your comment. I invited comments. I was looking forward to a discussion, and I said to keep it civil. So you didn't really insult me directly, did you? Yeah, you despise me, you said. So once again, I want to encourage you, regardless of your frustration, go out and vote because, if we all do that, it makes a difference. What we need to do is hold our elected officials accountable for the choices they make on our behalf. They've prioritized corporate profits over us. Brief solutions for housing and economic fairness. 1. Build more housing. More supply lowers prices. 2. Regulate corporate landlords. Limit how many homes investment firms can buy up. 3. Improve worker protection. Stop corporations from using temporary work permits to drive down wages. 4. Tax fairness. Let workers write off more essential expenses. 5. encourage new economic hubs. Not everything has to be centered in Toronto and Vancouver. More remote work and regional development could ease housing demand in major cities. There you go. I don't want to be the one who's telling you what to vote for. You should make your own decision, but the best way to do that is by informing yourself about all the facts without anger, without pointing the finger at people like me just because I made a video that talks about some of the issues. If you really look at it, maybe we're not going to be adversaries after all. Once again, I'm here starting a bike ride and it's ending in a discussion about our future as this country. And I'm telling you, the threat of Canada having severe pain as a result of what's happening in the United States is very real. It's already happening. You will see that in the coming days. Your groceries aren't going to go down, guy. They're going to go up. And that's why this election is about Donald Trump. I'll see you soon in another video.